bells and bows. Where the love runs deep, the fam stays strong, and the bells, they always ring for us. We the bells and we hold it down, yeah. Real ones only, we don't mess around. Mocha, all love, no cap, no clout to chase. Just truth in the chat and respecting the space. It's family, Mocha got that heart of gold. From the south to the stream, we brave and bold. You ain't gotta pick sides or play a role. Just show a real and you already home. Pull up to the bells and bows like a Sunday seed. Got peace in the room and a vibe on beat. No drama, no mess, just minds that meet. Introduce yourself in the chat and the mods gon' greet. Real talk, we got brothers and sisters here. Ain't no fake love, every heart sincere. We've been through storms, but the skies stay clear. Loyalty live, that's the chant you hear. Woo! No chaos in the comment section, just bells with a bond and a bold connection. Safe space, strong face, deep reflection. Mocha, don't fold, that's pure protection. If you ever felt unheard, misunderstood, pull up in the chat, we treat you good. Ain't gotta be loud, just gotta be true. Mocha got the light and we shine with you. Not a panel of pain, it's a platform of pride. Everybody got space and we don't divide. You loyal, you love, that's how we ride. Got a bell and a bow in the name, but a tribe world. From the mods to the lurkers and folks on rewatch. Every tap, every like, we feel it alive. Mocha ain't just a name, it's a vibe you caught. No la bell, no la boast, that's a family, not a thought. Bring it loud, we the bells and we hold it down. Yeah, we do. Real ones only, we don't mess around. Real talk, love, no cap, no clout to chase. Just truth in the chat and respecting the space. It's family, Mocha got that heart of gold. From the south to the stream, we brave and bold. You ain't gotta pick sides or play a role to show a real and you already home. Mocha said that to every bell in the space. Whether you typing, watching, or just vibing, you are this family. And over here, we don't fold, we ring. Ooh, welcome to
Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was doing all that talking, and Mocha wasn't even on the screen. Welcome to each and every one of you. Happy Monday, guys. Happy Monday. We're here with another live stream, and I'm so happy to have each and every one of you here this evening. But before we get into anything, guys, I have a question for you all. A question that has been bothering all of us. We know that Jarvis is already locked up. We don't know what type of tricks he has under his sleeves. But my question to you all, do you all think Shannon, Annette, Marquita, King, extended family members and those associates, the friends, do you all think they should be held at some level of accountability for what happened under Annette's roof with those kids? That's a question. And I want to know where you all stand with that. Because where Mocha stands, I believe everybody that knew something, that saw something, I do believe everybody should take their lick. Everybody, look at my girl Simone. Simone say yes. PJ say yes, Lord. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And no matter how many court dates pass, no matter how many statements they make, no matter how many people pretend they don't know nothing, and we know that they know, one question keeps coming back to the surface. And it's been years now, and nobody still has an answer. And that question is, where is Naziah Harris? Where is Naziah? Now, we all know by now, and for those that don't know, Jarvis has already admitted to doing some of the most disgusting things imaginable. Dumping her in a river. Dumping her in a river. That's on record. And my thing is, Jarvis, you know that much about how she suffered. If you know you telling them you dumped in a river, I don't believe it. Since you know that much, the question becomes, how much more do you know? What else do you know? The real question is, do he really know where Naziah is? Do he really know where Naziah is? Or is there a truth in his case that somebody somewhere is still trying to keep buried? Because we have to be honest with ourselves for a second. We know cases like this don't happen every day. Children don't end up in situations like this without multiple adults failing them along the way. Is Jarvis guilty? Yes, he is. Is he the only one guilty? No, he's not. And the more you start looking at the timeline around Naziah, the more it begins to feel like, looks like, this wasn't just about one man. This definitely was not just about Jarvis, because a whole lot of people knew more than they've ever admitted, and still willing to sit there on what they know and not say nothing. So tonight, guys, on this porch, we're going to have a few drinks, cross our legs, and chat about it. We're going to ask the question, does Jarvis know where Naziah is? And if he does, who else might know too? Because at some point, the silence around Naziah, at some point, this silence has to break. Somebody, somewhere, knows more than they're saying. So the question remains, will Jarvis lead them to Naziah? Or is the truth about to shock everybody? Do he know where she is? Do they know too? Do they know? Where is Naziah? There's something in this case that may have been overlooked. And when y'all hear it, y'all will understand why This entire situation is the way it is. I see y'all coming in the chat. I see y'all. I see y'all. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. If you're just stepping up on the porch tonight, go on and grab yourself a seat because the porch light is on, y'all. And the conversation is about to get real. First things first, let me go ahead on and just say good evening and welcome to all my Nola Bells and Bows, cousins and friends, and everybody that decided to pull up and spend a little time with us tonight. Hit the like button for your girl. Share out the live. Subscribe to the channel. Those of you in the bushes, I love you too, if you've not already done so. And don't forget to tap those emojis to the right. Let them know we're outside. Hitting that like button, tapping those emojis, that helps this conversation travel outside of this porch. It helps this conversation reach people who may not even know this particular discussion is happening tonight. And if you're new here and this is your first time stepping on the porch, welcome, baby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nola Bells, Nola Bows, I see y'all. If you're a Nola Bell, Nola Bow, and you're ready for this conversation, drop some eyes up in this chat. Charlotte Stewart, thank you so very much, my loves, for supporting the channel. The support to the channel is always appreciated. And I want to take this moment before I move further into the commentary to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who continues to support this channel, continues to support these conversations, and continue to stand up for the children whose voices were taken away from them. Because at the end of the day, y'all, that's what this porch is all about. Truth, accountability, and making sure these children are not forgotten. So go ahead, y'all, grab your snacks, get comfortable, because we got some things that we need to talk about. Everything discussed on this porch tonight is based on publicly available information regarding the Zaire Harris case. Before somebody get in their feelings, let me go ahead on and remind the room that this live stream tonight also falls under Section 107 of the Copyright Act. Wendy, thank you so very much for the birthday love. Thank you, my love. We fall under the Copyright Act of 1976, which allows for fair use for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and community discussions. In other words, for those that don't understand that, we're here to talk about it. And we're going to talk about it. All right, let's go. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, the closer this gets towards sentencing for Jarvis Butts, the louder the question gets. Does Jarvis Butts really know where Nazaria is? Or is Jarvis Butts pulling these folks' legs? What is Jarvis Butts doing? What does Jarvis Butts really have going on? Jarvis Butts didn't admit it. He said he dumped Nazaria's body in the river. That's what he admitted to. Let me tell y'all something. Just the thought of him saying that was eerie. Because what made him say it? Was it pressure? Was it truth? Because when a person can admit to something that cold and callous, something that's final, something that cruel, that's not small. This is a child we're talking about. a child whose life mattered. And now we're sitting here with the reality that he admitted to disposing of her body like her life meant absolutely nothing. But do we really believe that her body is in that river? How many of you all actually believe that Naziah is in that river? Regardless of what he said, how many of you all actually believe that that's where she is? That's sickening. All by itself, just admitting that, that's sickening. And if that is what he admitted to, what else does he know that he has not fully laid out? Charlotte's Webb says, I don't believe. Kimberly Earl says, I don't believe. Kim says she's not in that river. Essie says, I don't believe she's there at Moca. Breshina said, hell no, she ain't in the river. And I believe y'all. Wendy said, no. April says, not at all. And you guys, you know what I believe? I believe he told them that to scatter their brains. Bridget, hey girls, Bridget said, Mocha, I think he told that lie to spare Annette and Shannon from going to jail. Girl. Everybody is on the same page. You don't believe. They don't believe she's in that river. Jennifer says if she was there, they would have been found her when they did the first search. Natasha says, I don't believe he dumped her there. He playing with them people. Absolutely, absolutely. That's our opinion. Because Charlotte Stewart, I love you, girl. And I'm gonna light you up and put you on the screen. We're hearing everything. The stories that are being told, the different directions that these people are being sent, and the confusion behind where is Naziah. All this time past, there's not been one sighting. There has not been one report of, not one shred of evidence that says she's no longer here. Charlotte Stewart said, I don't believe she's dead. She said, I don't believe it. Baby, we're going to talk about it tonight. And I love that we all have opinions. Tanya said, I don't believe it, not one bit. Pretty Wings, I see you, my love. Hey, Samantha, welcome to the chat, my love. Samantha says, I still think her body is in an oil barrel in the back of that shop. I just can't shake this feeling. I feel you, Samantha. I feel you, my girl. I feel you. My girl Charlotte's Web said Kim's office will accept what Jarvis said because they fucked up. They want this case gone. Absolutely. They want it gone. They want it gone because it's going to implicate too many people. It's going to take too many resources. And the one thing is, we have to understand Jarvis Butts in their eyes is the fish that got away because they failed. They failed to do the right thing with Jarvis Butts many, many, many years ago, which is why he ended up back on the street. So in Mocha's opinion, they didn't want to take the risk. Why do you all think that plea deal stayed on the table open? with no expiration date. That don't happen in the real world. That plea deal stayed open with no expiration date. They were waiting for Jarvis to decide. They were waiting for Jarvis. How do you wait for a criminal when you're supposed to be the one in charge? But they knew they had nothing. They messed it up. That plea deal stayed open without an expiration for a reason. They took time wanting to work with Jarvis, being willing to work with Jarvis because they didn't want to risk the chance of jurors coming forward and having that conversation where they couldn't agree. And being that, they didn't want to spend resources doing this, that, and the other because it would have been costly. And they knew it. And Jarvis would have wrote it out. But Mocha, shut up and keep going. Hey, Jerry, welcome to the chat, my love. Jerry says they know exactly where Naziah at. That's why no one pointing a finger. Jerry says for y'all to ask Frank, where's Naziah? Jesus. Hey, Jerry, they know that everybody ain't slow. Jerry, they know that as much publicity that this case has gotten, Jerry, they know that people are reading through the fine prints and they're seeing the mistakes that they've made. So why risk it? Why risk it? Frank, Annette, Kim Worthless, extended family members, Shannon Marquita, Eric Gamble, y'all all got questions to answer for the world. One way or another, this baby will get her justice. She most definitely will. My beautiful sister Rashina, thank you, my love, for the birthday blessing. Thank you, boo. Now, for what Jarvis admitted, y'all, that's pure evil. I don't give a damn how you unwrap it. It's evil. This is a level of some sort of cold-blooded detachment that should just shake every person to their core. You mean to tell me a young, vibrant Naziah who loved a life as she showed us? That baby went from being alive, breathing, needing protection, needing somebody to stand between her and danger, to being reduced to something you dumped in a damn river. That ain't just criminal. That's rotten to the core. That's rotten to the core. This is the kind of thing that lets you know we're not dealing with a bunch of people who just made a mistake. Jarvis, Shannon, Annette, Marquita, King, Frank, Bishop, extended family members. This ain't no mistake. We're dealing with a bunch of people that crossed all the way over into the darkness, y'all. And what bothers me even more is when you hear shit like this, your mind naturally started asking, how many people knew this child was in danger before it even got to this point? Because I refuse to believe I refuse to ever believe that Naziah just ended up in the hands of destruction like this without a goddamn long line of failure standing behind it. And the proof is in the pudding. The failure was there. The failure was definitely there. Not just to what Jarvis admitted to, but also the environment that had already been created around Naziah for him to even have access, opportunity, and boldness like that. See, that's the part that most people don't want to talk about, the goddamn environment. But that's the problem. They like to isolate one monster and act like the story starts and end there. Hell no, the story did not start and end with Jarvis. These children are often failed in layers, and Annette had a house full that was failed. They looked the other way. They knew enough to be concerned, but they chose to keep quiet. These children were failed by the entire city of Detroit. CPS was involved. DPD was involved. The school was involved. The church was involved. Should I go on? And everything that I just named, everything failed this baby. And then when somebody like Jarvis admits to that much, it tells me they have already crossed the line that most people could never, ever imagine crossing. And I believe Jarvis Butts admitted to that because his hands were forced. His hands were forced. So don't tell me it's a reach for the public, for us to wonder what else he knows. Don't tell me it's too much for us to still be asking questions. No, ma'am, no, sir, no way. Because damn it, if you admit it, for whatever reason, to doing what you did to this child's body after death, because she had to have been deceased already for you to throw her in that river, then that leaves us all the rights to ask what happened before the river. Who knew what happened before the river? Who helped? Who all stayed quiet? And who all is still hiding behind silence? And those that are still hiding behind silence, they need a paddy wagon to go pick all their asses up. Because just because Jarvis said he threw her in the river, I want you all to know that did not close the door. All it did was kick that bitch wide open. And to be real honest with y'all, that river piece, not only was it disrespectful, it was inhumane. And the prosecutors knew that. But they figured if he would have said that, that would have shut everybody up. They're so used to doing it with these children. Naziah was not trash. Not a secret to be buried or a memory to be washed away. And she damn sure is not a case people get to move on from like nothing never happened. Naziah's name carries weight. And if Jarvis, as Sid is dumbass there that admitted that much, then he done already told this world enough for us to know that the truth is ugly. The truth is cruel and far deeper than what he has already admitted. So yeah, tonight we got questions. Because once you say out your mouth what you did, Jarvis Butts, then all you did was pull the rest of these people into the mix. Because you ain't got the heart. You're a monster for sure. a nasty one. But all of that other stuff missed me with it. If you all believe that that baby was failed, well, we know she was failed. If you all believe that that family knows more, drop some sirens in the chat. If this breaks your heart, drop some broken hearts in the chat. And if you want justice, give us justice scales all up in this chat. Because Naziah deserves so much more. I see y'all up in this chat. I see y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, guys. Wanda said, y'all, he said that for Kim Worthless. By the time you know, they'll have an agreement. They done already agreed. Natasha, my girl, I see you, boo. Natasha said everybody's body has turned up except for Naziah. So they cannot convince me to believe nothing they put out there. The whole thing, the whole investigation is some bullshit. We're going to stop right there. I see y'all. I see y'all in the chat making it do what it do. Thank you all. Thank you all. Natasha, let's leave you on the screen for a second, boo. Natasha says, everybody's body has turned up, but Naziah. So they can't convince me to believe nothing they put out there. That whole investigation is some bullshit. I agree with you 100%. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. And if you ride the train with Moca, and if you understand where I'm going with this, drop some ears in the chat when I reveal why Moca feels this way. Let's go back to Jarvis' original charges compared to the charges that are now present on the table. Jarvis' original charges included him being in possession of images for distribution and sale. That was a charge. That was along the line of a trafficking charge. Somebody please tell me, where did that charge go? Every other charge that they wanted on the table to make the world believe that they were really doing their job. How can you stick the charge with the unaliving of Naziah, but yet the image distribution trafficking charge goes away? Where's that charge? Nobody. We got to make this shit make sense. There's no body of Naziah. Right? That's number one. Let's go to number two. Number two is the charges that disappeared. Let's go to number three. Number three, everything else disappeared on his charges, but we're going to charge him with the unaliving of Naziah. Then we think about what Shannon says. They can't prove it. There's nobody. Nobody No baby. So y'all, tell me, am I crazy? Or does this sound like the perfect cover up for an enterprise that moves children from place to place to place? Because that's what is given. That's what is given. I don't give a damn how many people were involved in this. We have to look at the big picture. Yeah, listen, I'm only giving commentary off of what was already out there. And it started. We have to pay attention, y'all. It started with Annette and that press conference. The press conference. Annette pleaded with whomever she knows. Not only did she plead with whomever, let's take it a step further. And we're going to make all this shit make sense. And we're going to make it make sense before the trial comes. That's why I say, will Jarvis Butts' testimony, if he speaks, will it shock the world? Annette, in that press conference, she pleaded with whomever. Then Shannon gets on the stand during the preliminary. My mama pull out the driveway at 3 o'clock, go and run an errand. Tuda is used to walking in the house at 3:05. So if mama pulled out the driveway at 3 o'clock, going run an errand, God damn it, mama should have ran into Tuda while pulling out the driveway. Let's line all this shit up. Then Shannon comes back and my mama told me don't call the police. Then she comes back again. Nobody could prove it because there is nobody. Why do you keep saying that? Then we could take it a step further. Shannon in the kitchen with Roxy. This is what you wanted, wasn't it, Roxy? So what are we talking about? What are we really talking about? Because if y'all take everything that I said, or everything that y'all heard me say, what do y'all make of that? Does that sound like I threw it in the river? Or does that sound like the evangelist said that money was moved around? Does that sound like somebody received a payday? Because, baby, I need to know where y'all at with it because y'all know how Moca gets. Welcome each and every one of you to the chat. I truly appreciate you being here. If you don't mind, hit that like button for your girl. Hit the like button for your girl. Wanda says Tim Worthless knows that he knows where she's at. And she thinks he's going to tell it because they don't know. Bingo, Wanda. They don't know. They don't know. Sugar Bear, welcome to the chat, my love. She said today is my birthday as well. Oh, happy birthday, my love. Happy birthday to you, Cynthia Homer. Thank you for being a member for 4 months. And thank you for the early birthday wishes, my love. My girl Samantha says, I honestly don't think Jarvis dumped her. I believed he was threatened to not say a word and took the plea deal. I believe that. I believe that. It was a threat. It was a threat that made him take that plea deal. And like I've been saying forever and ever and ever, Jarvis is going to disappear out of the system. And it's not that he's going to disappear because he got hurt, injured, unalive, none of that. It's part of the program. They're not going to sacrifice them getting exposed. So we got to do what we got to do to protect each other. Absolutely. She was failed by so many people. Hey, Tenny Thoughts, welcome to the chat, my love. She says this sounds like the Epstein files. Everybody lying and covering up stuff. And the sad part is how aunties and granny knows what happened allegedly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the sad part about that, Tenny's Thoughts, is that we wouldn't be able to comment the way we comment and say the things that we say if what the granny done and what the aunties done and how they carried themselves, if it would have not been brought to the forefront. Because one thing that we know for certain, Naziah is not accounted for. Two things that we know for sure, she wasn't the only person. She was not the only child that went through that type of abuse in that home. And that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. Because there's no way this could keep happening over and over and over again, and it never gets addressed. Queen of Kings, I see you, my love. Yes, Tanya, he lied under pressure. He lied. Jerry said, you said she was trafficked. Jerry, long time ago. Jerry said, you said she was trafficked. I can't figure it out. I knew the twins when they were innocent. Annette really damaged all the people in that house. I can't even imagine, Jerry, them twins ever being innocent. Not when their own little cousin came out here and said that the twins had incestual relations with her at the age of 6. So, Jerry, I don't know how well you know these people. But, Jerry, what I will say, you can't convince me that they were ever innocent coming from a background like that. Because, baby, that's learned behavior. That's learned behavior. And they grew up in that mess. Sheena tells sister, hey, sister. Samantha says, I want to know why the FBI isn't involved. It's too many years since our baby's been gone. I see them in other cases. Hey, Samantha, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. There's a reason why the FBI isn't involved. You know, everything ain't got to be in black and white. Everything don't have to be politically correct for you to understand it, but you got to have common sense. When Kim Worthy can tell these people, go away, I don't need you, what you think they would do? Detroit, Michigan told the FBI, we got it. The family never put pressure. The family never stepped forward and demanded accountability. The family never stepped forward and said, hey, we need y'all to do this and do that. They moved like guilty people. Because wouldn't you move hell and earth and get any and everybody in on the case to help you find yours? They said no. So the head honcho said, we don't need you. The family said, we don't care. And that's why there's no FBI. My girl Trina is in here tonight. Trina says, Mocha, remember when Shannon said there's nobody? Could it be because the church helped cremate her so they won't find a body? I don't think it went that far, Trina. I don't think the church did that. But is the church hands dirty? Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This baby went through holy hell. Tammy says, what about Tammy says, what about what he did to his own daughter and the other children? I thought that all their cases were supposed to be separate from Nazaya's case anyway. Absolutely. But let me tell you, again, goes back to what I said. They're protecting the enterprise. What does the unaliving of Nazaya have to do with all the essay cases? So in an essence, you've stripped these victims from speaking. You stripped these victims from having a voice. You stripped these victims from getting justice because you wanted an open and shut case because you didn't want to be brought to the forefront. That's what happened, in my opinion. That's absolutely. This is crazy. Hey, Denise. Denise says Satan did not get away. There's a God. Absolutely, there is. That's the judge. All them crooks is going to pay. They have to. They have to. Sheena, absolutely. The power charge is gone too. In your city, I see you, my love. In your city says, if he had said Detroit River, that's believable. It's closer and has plenty access points to put her in there. Plus, it would tear a body to shreds. He said the Rouge River. Kim says, Kim Worthless thought we forgot about that. Corruption. Where is the FBI, baby? Tanya said that river was frozen. So, yep, she was trafficked. Samantha says, follow that church. Find Nazaya. Samantha, and that's what we've been saying from day one. Natasha says, stiff wig is definitely a part of the enterprise. Tony says, Mocha, all they funky asses know what happened and where that baby is at, y'all. Tony, they know. They know. They know. They definitely. Now, Keisha, hey, baby, welcome to the chat shell, baby. I see you, my love. Tony, I'm telling you, they know. Damn, Tony looking for a drink. Carla said they're going to give Jarvis a whole new identity. Carla Henry, you better believe it. You better believe it, baby. Lady D says, let's just pray that this judge don't accept the plea deal because he don't have to. All the stuff he heard, he should want to put him on trial. Lady D, that's my prayer. That is definitely my prayer. that this judge has the heart of Judge Seabury. Because I think if she would have had her way during that preliminary, they was going to trial that day. If she would have had her way during that preliminary, they would have got locked up that day. They would have got locked up that day. Because my thing is, if they wanted to be fair, and if that family had any common sense, or if that family had a heart, or if that family really cared about that baby, let me tell y'all something. If Jarvis Butts with his stupid ass actually sit there and was able to admit to dumping her body in the Rouge River, right? Why didn't that family? Why didn't the family, the prosecutors, Roxy with all the money, why did they not advocate? He said he dumped her. Then goddamn it, you knew how she died. So why can't you tell us how she died if you dumped her? You know where she died. You know what happened before that moment. You may very well know who else was around when it happened. So why couldn't you give us all of that? Why could you not give us all of that? I see y'all coming in the chat. Side TV, hey boo, welcome, 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 welcome. Because listen, in the real world, ain't nobody signing up to dispose of a child's body unless they're already tangled up in some filthy, evil mess that they can't get out of. And that's the enterprise. Since Platt, I see you, boo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ain't nobody in their right mind is going to sign up and openly admit of disposing a child's body unless they're already tangled up in some filthy, evil mess that's part of an enterprise. And that's where my questions start getting louder. Because the more I sit with this shit, the more I start wondering, how many people is involved in this? How many people knew something was wrong long before it ever got to the damn river? Because children like Naziah don't just fall into the hands of a monster without there being cracks in the foundation somewhere. And the cracks started in Annette's home. It started there. And believe me, not only did it start there, in my humble opinion, it ended there. It ain't in that no river. I don't give a damn what nobody says. It did not end at the river. They decided to stay silent. Them being silent is learned behavior because they've done it so much in that home. So protecting Naziah, that was secondary. Because every time I hear that river part, and that's how I know they're not playing with a full deck, because every time I hear that river part, it feels like somebody over there thought that this was going to be the end of the story. They really thought that that would be the end of the story because of the river. Like if you dump a child in the water, time go wash away the truth. Y'all can't be serious. That water did not remove the truth. Like the currents from that water was going to carry away the accountability. Now all y'all need to be standing in front of a judge and a jury on the firing line. Let me just say something loud enough for the people in the back. Water don't erase evil. Water will never erase what really happened to Naziah. It won't erase the people that failed her, and it damn sure don't erase the questions that we are still asking. Jarvis, because you admitted to dumping her body, then that means you were standing in the middle of this story. You stood in the middle of this story, Jarvis. Did you help initiate the deal? Was that the reason for the images? Did you help initiate the deal, which made you the middleman? Because people who stand in the middle of a story like this usually, almost certainly, know every ugly chapter that came before and after. So we ain't crazy for asking questions. Oh, no, we're not. And we're not out of line for wondering whether the truth we've heard so far is only a piece of the whole damn picture. Y'all want us to move on like it's over. But y'all know. But y'all need to also know that the world is still watching. Who do y'all think also know? Who do y'all think? I want to know where y'all headspace is. Who do y'all think also knows what happened? Naziah had no business in the position that they put her in. She deserves so much more. These grown ass people stayed silent. And that's the part that makes cases like this so damn painful to sit with. It almost never starts with the person who gets caught. You can best believe that. It almost never starts with the person who gets caught. It starts with Annette's home. Shannon, Marquita. It starts with the adults that were supposed to say, not on my watch. But instead, this pattern group, they didn't care. They didn't care. Leanne says Annette should be charged with something. Neglect, lying to the court, false information to the police. Absolutely. It started off terrific. I see you, boo. Welcome, 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 mama. Leanne, I'm with you. She needs to be charged. Because my thing is, Leanne, How is that an oversight? Leanne, how is it? How is it that they allow Annette to knowingly sit there and lie and they don't address that? Something is wrong. We cannot just accept this and say it's okay, because we're not making these things up. We're seeing what they're presenting and we're questioning it because it makes no sense. Tanya says, I believe that Jarvis will definitely disappear. And the only reason I feel that it's going to happen, Tanya, because this has gotten out of hand. It's bigger than Detroit right now. It's bigger than Detroit. And I'm going to tell you why. As we see little girls come up missing in Detroit every day, it never blew up this big. It never blew up this big. And now that it is, the spotlight is on them. It is definitely on them. So they have to do something. And because the spotlight is on them, look at how long it took Jarvis Butts to say where he wanted them to believe Nazaya is. Look at how long it took the prosecutors to think about how they was going to railroad this in what they consider to be a legal way. Look at how long. For us to end up where we are today, it should have not taken 2 years for us to get here. It should have not taken 2 years for us to end up with a plea deal. No trial. It shouldn't have taken that long. But it's the exposure. They're getting heat from the bigger people. And they had to do something. Tony said his case got Kim Worthless name all over it with the fuckery, Moca. Because Jarvis already knew he was going to be doing time. That part. And I'm going to bring it back to y'all again. See, we got to make this shit make sense. Jarvis Butts, released from jail, released from prison, wherever he was, on the same charges of SA. After doing time for that, Jarvis was supposed to come home on an ankle monitor. Jarvis was supposed to register. Jarvis was supposed to check in with a PO. Jarvis did none of those things. Jarvis did not have an ankle monitor. Jarvis was not a registered offender. Jarvis did not check in with the PO. Jarvis was walking the streets of Detroit, a free man. So, boom, they dropped the ball. Shannon takes Jarvis in as her man. Now Jarvis is in heaven. He's in the playground. Jarvis gets into more trouble along the way. Pow charge after pow charge after pow charge. Let me show you the corruption now. Detroit do not pick Jarvis up and charge him with failure to comply. They don't pick him up with failure to register as a SO. They don't pick him up for failure to report to a parole officer. They don't pick him up for not having a tether. And y'all know all 3 of those are violations. They didn't pick him up for none of those. But they picked him up for a power charge. So boom, Jarvis knew he was facing time. Now y'all got to make it make sense for the new people that don't understand what's going on. Jarvis went to court. Jarvis was found guilty on the power charges. They told Jarvis he would be looking at a sentence of 1 year behind bars on the power charge. Jarvis went to the courts and told the courts, hey, I need a little time. I can't turn myself in right now. I'm going to turn myself in on February 7th. Y'all hear me breathing hard, right? Because where in America do you go and tell these people when you want to turn yourself in? That's number one. Now follow along with me. He told them that he would turn himself in on the 7th. Now common sense would tell you, common sense would tell me, if I know I'm turning myself in on the 7th, knowing that I'm facing only 1 year behind bars and may not have to do the whole year, could have been out in 6 months. If I knew that that was my fate, tell me, why would I turn myself in knowing that I was walking into a trap and was going to be charged with the unaliving of Messiah? Nowhere in America does that make sense. Nowhere in America does that make sense. Because if Jarvis Butts, we got to be honest, if this man knew that he really did what they said he did, the easiest thing for him to have done was to run. Why walk into some place and end the rest of your life? If you're that type of criminal, you got to be the dumbest criminal in America to swap your freedom for the rest of your life. For 1 year, you got to make it make sense. You got to make it make sense. Let me grab some of these comments so I can move on. Lady D says, I believe Jarvis got rid of the body, and he only took the deal to save Shannon and Annette so Shannon can get her kids back. And if so, that's a dirty damn deal. Lady D, I believe that too. But Lady D, I believe a rabbit is going to come out of that hat. I do believe that. Shannon does not have her kids right now. I found that out. Shannon is in the process of taking classes. She has to comply, which I think is messed up, because how do you do that to Janiyah? This child then as a matter of fact, these children sit there and told you what happened, told the courts what happened. So the courts have no care nor concern for these children, to put these children right back in the very same place that hurt them and harmed them. I want to know, who gives them the right? Detroit is screwed up for that. If they give Shannon back these children, I don't give a damn how many classes Shannon take. Shannon don't deserve these children. And what's really sad, now, They say, where the children were placed. They say Shannon is taking courses in order to comply. See, this shit is a whole ring. Something is going wrong. Because to my understanding, the home where little Janiyah has been placed, the foster parent is working with CPS and working with Shannon, helping her comply to get her kids back. Something ain't right. So what kind of foster home did y'all really put this child in? This don't make no damn sense to me. Something needs to be done with Detroit. Raven, welcome to the chat, my love. Kim says, how is it that Jarvis' other charges disappear? Why did his plea deal have an expiration date? Why has no one else been arrested? Why is nobody held accountable, baby? And the Rhapsody, I see you, my love. Welcome, boo. Girl, the list goes on and on and on. And Kim, all of those open-ended, unanswered questions matter, boo. And they haven't given us an answer since. You know what? There will be no trial, so there will be no answers. We will still be hanging after the sentencing in the same position we were in when this shit first started. No answers. Tammy said, this is why I don't understand. Why in the hell none of them are locked up? Make it make sense. Tanya, that ring, baby. It's a hell of a ring. Tony said Shannon doesn't even care about her own daughter because her daughter was the sister Naziah never had. So lock all them holes up. That baby will be hurting for the rest of her life. Not only hurting emotionally. Listen, Tony, not only will that child be hurting emotionally, right? Think about the future hurts. Because if y'all think them holes is done with having men running in and out of that house, if y'all think Eric Gamble will never visit that house again, if y'all think the so-say autistic man that touched Naziah, if y'all think he'll never go there again, y'all sadly mistaken, because the so-say autistic man was Annette's son. Let's talk about all of that. Let's talk about it all. These people are sick. Bridget said those adults in that house definitely know what happened to Naziah. And Bridget, I believe that with everything that's in me. This is sad. Bridget says, but remember, Moca, Jarvis took the police to where she was buried. But when they got there, she was moved. Bridget, that ain't no truth to that. I promise you. Hey, Spicy. Spicy said, I'm in the bushes listening bedtime. Spicy, I love you for always dropping in and supporting the channel, boo. I love you for that. Have a good evening. Bridget, Jarvis never. Where's the footage? Where's the footage? Because one thing we know is if Jarvis led the police anywhere to pinpoint where he assumed Nazaya's body was. You could best believe the news camera would have been there. Somebody would have been there to get that coverage. So please, there's no way, no damn way Jarvis took the police to where her body was and it was dug up. Is that the same spot where they so claim Shannon moved the body 3 times while Jarvis was locked up? Make this shit make sense. Jeez. Child. And I guess it's the same scenario where they found the arm, the leg, the foot, the finger. Come on now. Tammy says, in my opinion, Mocha, he was intended to be the fall guy anyway. So the trafficking ring corruption pool could move forward. Tammy, bingo. 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 Tammy, let me tell you what I believe happened. And if I'm if I'm driving too fast, because I like to drive above the speed limit. So if Mocha starts speeding, I need y'all to throw some sirens in the chat and say, slow your ass down because you're about to get a ticket. Listen. I believe Jarvis had to take this lick intentionally. From day one, if anybody goes back to the very first live stream I ever done, I called it out. I said Jarvis was the fall guy in the very first stream I done. And I stand on that till this very day. Jarvis was the perfect fall guy because Jarvis knew too much of their personal business. Jarvis knew too much. Shannon and laid there and whispered sweet nothings in that dirty ear. He knows all the family's secrets. He knows who done came up missing. He knows who done what to who. He knows who done been shipped off where. He knows. Now, he may have not been part of a trafficking ring, but when he met them, he became involved in the trafficking ring. Follow me close. Because how is it on Annette's watch, allegedly, so many children disappear and to never be heard from again? Nobody, never found, just vanished. What does that sound like to you all? So Jarvis didn't bring the business to the Harris household. Jarvis was introduced to that business through the Harris household. So Jarvis is sitting his ass in a position of knowing just a little too much. Jarvis was going to be the fall guy because they knew, as sick as Jarvis was, he had an attachment to Naziah that they couldn't control. And it went too far. It went too far. No matter what they said, no matter what they done, it couldn't separate Jarvis and Naziah. As sad and as sick as it sounds, they didn't want Jarvis with Naziah. They didn't want Naziah with Jarvis. But rightfully so. But they opened the door to that. They opened the door to that. So if you're going to hold Jarvis accountable and make him responsible, God damn it, open the same door and make Shannon, Annette, and Marquita and everybody else that's a part of that nasty household accountable. So Jarvis, you had to take that lick because they needed you out the way, one way or the other. And that was the only way they could have gotten you. Because if all of this had been going on, why wait so conveniently until it was time for Jarvis to turn himself in for these allegations to come to the front of the class? Nazaria had been gone. Been. So why wait until February 7th, a whole month later? Why wait until Jarvis Butts turned himself in for this to come to the forefront? Because we know she's been gone long before the date that y'all said she was missing. So we gonna make it make sense. Wanda says, Moca, don't worry, she coming to court. I done told y'all that she got out of there. And Jarvis helped her and the pastor. Nah, that pastor ain't helped nothing. Kim says Worthless needs to be charged with something. He's not being held accountable for those other charges. Them other charges is protecting him too. Tanya, you better talk about it. The Talibans. The Talibans is known. They're known for trafficking. Diana, hey boo, welcome. This is sad. Kim Worthless dropped the fireworks charge because Jarvis was only going to do a year or 3 at the most by him being a convicted criminal. Where do they do that at? Only in Detroit. Only in. Jerry pops up every now and then, and I want to know. I really want to know what's Jerry's relation to those people, because Jerry be having a lot to say. I just be wanting to know. Jarvis was young, the other monsters were old, and one died in his late 60s or 70s. Well, Jerry, who was the other monster that died in his late 60s or 70s? Who are you talking about, Jerry? I'm concerned. Platt said, seems like they're all kin. Seems like they're all kin in some kind of way. Are they fucking somebody in the department? That part. Oh, you're talking about Charles. Jarvis was young. The other monsters were in. Jarvis was young. The other monsters were old. And one died in his late 60s or early 70s. Oh, so Charles died. Well, most of the men we know ran through there were, those type of men. Lady D said Mark D knows what happened. Because if he didn't, why would he say he was going to destroy his footage? That part. Lady D. And not only destroy the footage, but Lady D, he shut down, got quiet, and never uttered another word. Never uttered another word. So my thing is, why? What did you know? Roxy knows more too. It's a shame that they play with this baby's name. that they play with everything about her like it's a game. It's a game to them because this is not their first rodeo. This is sad. Because whether people like it or not, it always bothered me. It always bothered me because I always wondered, why would Annette, Shannon, Marquita, why would they stay silent knowing all these children were in danger and Naziah was missing or supposedly missing? Because you don't act like that when somebody's missing. You act like that when you know what you know. And that's why I'm convinced that they know what they know. These people saw things, they heard things, felt in their gut something was wrong, and still chose to shut their mouth. This is sad. These children grew up in an environment, sitting in the middle of situations that kept getting dangerous and dangerous by the day. And that's the part that makes my stomach turn. And what these slow ass people didn't realize, that's they've been doing this all their lives. And all that silence ever did, it gave the evil in them room to grow. It gave evil room to grow. And that shit manifested over decades. Body language tells a lot with children. Children move different. They react different. They talk different. And it's not hard to detect. Cornell said, who is Jerry? Jerry's in the chat, Cornell. If you can't see him, either you blocked or Jerry blocked. Somebody done blocked somebody. But Jerry's in the chat. And when adults do things like this, children always pay the price. And this is a hell of a price. This is indeed a hell of a price that Naziah had to pay. But I could tell you all that she's not in Rouge River. Something tells me, and I could be wrong, but until they produce a body, until they show the world, hey, this is Naziah. Hey, we got her. Hey, we've recovered Naziah. Until they do that, I'm going to believe what I felt in my gut from the very beginning. That is that child is somewhere with child. I told y'all a story a while back about a situation very similar that happened right there in Detroit. And this situation with Naziah is playing out the very same way. They know where she is. That's why they're not shaking the heaven and earth. That's why they're not moving. That's why they're not doing what normal people would do when somebody comes up missing. Because the moment Naziah didn't come home, as they say, Those were critical moments. Those were the moments where they should have been doing a little bit of everything. But instead of doing anything, Annette went to sleep. Shannon was grieving a miscarriage. Marquita and Dre was fighting. Annette called Dre over 2 days later to paint walls. So make it make sense. But you got a child that's missing and you want the world to believe that you don't know nothing and that's how you moved? Nazaria disappears on the 9th. Reported missing on the 10th. Shannon takes her ass to the district courthouse on the 10th to file paternity for her children. Not only, listen at the alibis they tried to make up. Not only did she go in and file paternity for her children on the very next day, but then Shannon went file criminal charges on a little girl that Nazaria had a fight with 6 months prior. Make this make sense. Their alibis, they were trying to line them up. But Annette, I still need you to come back here and tell us, where did you go? Nazaria supposedly got off the bus at 3 o'clock. She's supposed to walk in the house at 3:05. You back out your driveway at exactly 3 o'clock. You did not return home, Annette, until 6 o'clock. Shannon told us that. You returned home at 6 o'clock. And instead of doing what normal people do, you pull in your driveway, you get out of your vehicle, you go in your house. Annette, you didn't do that, baby. You sat in your car, sweetheart, and you sent some little children to go in the house and ask, is Nazaria home? Hello, Annette, I got a problem with that because I want to know why. Why that particular moment? Why that particular day? Why would you send children to ask if Nazaria was home if Nazaria had a routine and she was normally home every day at 3:05? Why that particular day did you send children to ask if she was home? The lies y'all tell. Jarvis is a monster indeed. Jarvis has done the most indeed, but we will not exclude Annette. We will not exclude Shannon. We will not exclude Marquita because, baby, they all play a large part. And just like Annette can't answer for why she sent children in that home to ask where Nazaria was, y'all got to follow the story and make it make sense. Because it was that very same Annette that didn't want to do a press conference. It was that very same Annette that had to be threatened to do a press conference. Ma'am, if you don't do this press conference per DPD, if you don't do this press conference, ma'am, we're going to charge you with withholding information. My granddaughter, well, not even my granddaughter because I legally adopted her. So that's my child. So why would I have to be threatened? Why would I have to be threatened to do a press conference? And then I stand there in front of all of those people, and my exact words were, y'all don't even know why y'all took her. Y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all don't know why y'all took her. Nazaria could be in danger. Just bring her home. And then the evangelist come out here 2 days later. You know the evangelist is the same man you had up in your house for your son. He comes back out of here 2 days after you done the press conference, ma'am, and he's saying how money had been exchanged. Dealers. That was the throw-off word. We knew it was in dealers. He even mentioned the amount of money, ma'am. And then one thing he said stuck with me and never left until this very day. He said, Naziah is so close, yet so far. So nothing in this world could make me believe y'all don't know. Because why else would he say it? He knew y'all better than anybody else because he was in and out of your house each and every day. As a matter of fact, ma'am, Naziah and her brother would spend the night at his house. According to him. So you got to make it make sense. Absolutely, Lady D. Everybody needs to be charged. Tammy says, in my opinion, Roxy was hurt like the rest of them. I'm sure she is a possibility, but she says they claim that they never had no dealings with the family. That's the claim that they're now making. We will keep fighting for justice, absolutely. Jerry said that family used to live down the street from him. Absolutely, Syed TV, especially after they first found out. Absolutely, that was the most critical moments. Nothing should have went past those people. Absolutely, Lady D. She gave Jarvis free reign to do whatever he wanted to do, and now she want to take the monkey off of her back. Tammy, I thought school was out too. Not only a reason they told Annette to stay away from those kids, Cornell. And then I don't even know how true that is. But if that is true, right? That tells a story within it all by itself. All by itself. So, if they tell Cornell, if they told Annette to stay away from the kids, now, Lord, now this is a bigger picture I got to paint. Cornell, if they told Annette to stay away from the kids, right? They took her license. And they're helping Shannon in classes to get hers back. Cornell, child, this might be a whole nother live stream. Cornell, do you think it's possible that Shannon snitched on Annette? Because that's what the hell is given. Y'all, am I wrong for feeling this way? Am I wrong for feeling this way? If they took Annette's license and they told Annette to stay away from the children, and they're doing everything in their power to help Shannon get hers back, is it possible that Shannon done snitched on Annette? Baby, is that the deal? Is that the deal? Shut your mouth. Is that the deal that came in that plea? I don't know. But something ain't right. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. And I'm wondering now, did Shannon snitch on Annette? Baby, we shall find out. We shall find out. Well, I'll be. Cornell said that's a good point. Simone said she did snitch on that stand and behind closed doors too. Cornell said, because why would they only terminate one of their parental rights, but not the other? Bingo. Rhapsody said, no, ma'am, you're not wrong. Tammy, they say Shannon taking classes to get them back. Thank you, sister. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Baby, this is unreal. Child, this is a mess. But y'all, it is so much, so many layers to this. And like I said, if Jarvis, if you could tell these people what you've done, if you could pinpoint where she is, there's more to the story. There's more to this story, and I do believe that you're ready to tell it. And I wonder if Annette is part of the story. I wonder if she's a part of the story. Unbelievable. That part, Canal, we will never know the full story. That's why there's going to be no trial. That's why they push for the plea deal. They don't want it all to come out. This is insane. Guys, if you've been following his commentary and you're feeling what we're putting down, we would appreciate it if you hit the like button for your girl. There's layers and layers and layers to this. But before we turn the porch lights down tonight, before we turn the porch lights down, Carla Henry said Nazaya's brother needs to know. Needs to know what, Carla Henry? Tammy says, now Moca, remember they were afraid of Granny Monster? I doubt it. Who knows? I pray they don't give Shannon those children back. If so, Detroit, y'all better protest it. Absolutely. I agree with you, Tammy, 100%. I don't give a damn how many classes they give Shannon. Shannon is not a decent mother. And I don't care how many people say Shannon only did what Annette told her to do. Shannon was a grown-ass woman, laid up there and had a house full of children, even the hibernating children that didn't belong to her. She couldn't have been that afraid of Annette. Shannon don't deserve those children. She don't. Oh, she said Nazaya's brother needs to know if she's dead or alive. All these people needs to be looked into. All these people has to answer for the disappearance of this little girl. She didn't just vanish. There's no way. But we'll be back to talk about it. But before we turn the porch lights off tonight, I want to say something that needs to sit with every single person who came through this conversation tonight. Because at the center of all these questions All the court dates in the world, all the arguments, everybody pointing fingers. There's still a child. There's still a child out there. Desire shouldn't be a headline. She shouldn't be a topic that people get to debate for entertainment because it's happening. She's a child. Her life should have been protected. Zaya was a little girl. She should have been surrounded by loving adults. Adults that would have been willing to stand between her and harm. But they allowed the harm. They entertained the harm. And yet, here we are. As normal people, still asking questions about how things went so terribly wrong. But on this porch, we don't let children be forgotten. We don't move on like the stories don't matter. And we don't stop asking questions because people get uncomfortable. Because if a child's life can end in disappearance or tragedy, then the least we can do as a community is make sure their name continues to be spoken. So tonight I want to remind you all, justice for a child, any child, it isn't just about going to court. It's about those involved taking accountability. It's about truth. And it's about making sure the next child don't fall through the same cracks. So before we leave here tonight, I ask that you all drop candles in this chat for Naziah. Let the chat fill up with candles so her name will forever be carried out on this porch and into the world, because the porch light stays on for Naziah. Because as long as we keep speaking her name, her story will not be over. And we will not be silent about it. And if this conversation meant something, just a little bit, to any of you, make sure that if you didn't do so, hit that like button before you step off the porch tonight. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Join the Nola Bells and Bows so you don't ever miss when the porch light comes on. Set your notifications. And just know, I see the candles, I see the candles, I see the candles. Light it up, y'all. Light it up. Over here, we're family. And we're going to do what we do. I love each and every one of y'all. I enjoyed the conversation. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Whether it was through Cash App, Super Chat, Super Sticker, I appreciate it all. Tomorrow, Moca's going to be back out here with you all. I'm going to come out earlier than normal. I'll post a notification sometimes in the morning as to what time I'm going to come out. It won't be our normal time because, as you know, tomorrow's my birthday. So I won't be here at normal time. But I will pop out. But on the way out, just know that I love you all. God bless. Good night. Let's leave out of here with hearts and candles for Naziah. God bless you all. Good night.
We stand tall, we rise as one. No bells, the work ain't done. No. Moca leading from the heart, never run. Truth and caring, everything we become. It's more than a vibe, it's a home, it's a call. Over here we catch each other when we team full of truth and a chat full of cheer. Mocha in the seat, steady steering the ship. Every topic got depth, every comment got grip. We don't tear folks down, we just build them up. If you're moving off love, then you one of us. Know the pride in the room and the vibe so loud. Every bell in the check gon' rep that crowd. We stand tall, we rise as one. Know the bells, the work ain't done. Won't you lead 'em from the heart, never run. Truth and care in everything we become. It's more than a vibe, it's a home, it's a call. Over here we catch each other when we fall. This is family. This is family. This is family. And we stand tall. Down in the north where the soul don't break. Mocha built the lane where the real ones stay. Ain't no faking the funk, ain't no playing for clout. You bring that mess, we gon' sort that out. But this ain't about drama, it's about love, it's about healing, it's about trust. Every child, every voice, every name in the breeze. We gon' stand for the ones no one else gon' see. So we stand tall, we rise as one. Oh no, no bellows, the work ain't done. Won't you lead it from the heart, never run. Truth and care in everything we become. It's more than a vibe, it's a home, it's a call. Over here we catch each other when we fall. This is family. This is family. This is family. And we stand tall. One mic, one tribe, one mission in mind. We protect what's right and we hold that line. It's the chat where the truth and the love collide. Where the voices don't hide and the pain gets light. We see you, we feel you, we fight for the cause. Every kid, every tear, we break down walls. When you hear that bell, that's the call to act. We family now, and that's just facts. We stand tall, we rise as one. Know the bells, the work ain't done. Won't you lead it from the heart, never run. Truth and care in everything we become. It's more than a vibe, it's a home, it's a call. Over here we catch each other when we fall. This is family. This one's for every voice we fight for and every child who needs to be heard. We see you, we feel you. We stand with the truth. This is the Know the Bells. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Stand tall. Join the family.